And you have a couple of options where you can install it. The first one is you can install it on your own computer, and the second one is that you can install it on a web host. You need to choose one or the other while you learn this course. The cheapest option is to install it on your own computer, but if you already have a web host, then I recommend you go with the web host install instead. So let's have a look at these two. If you install it on your own computer, it's totally free. If you install on a web host, you've got to pay for a domain and hosting costs. The domain is around about $10 a year, and hosting is from about $2.95 a month. If you install on your own computer, it's a great way to learn. On a web host, it's also a great way to learn. On your own computer, the site is not online, which means nobody can see what you're doing. On a web host, your site will be live on the internet. However, if you're just learning WordPress, you may not want it displayed on the internet, and there are ways to hide it. So don't discount using a web host because you don't want your mistakes being seen by the world. You can hide it. And if I had a choice between on my own computer or on a web host, I would learn on a web host because it's 100% compatible with everything we're doing, whereas on your own computer there are a few things that won't work, but we will cover those in a later lecture. The options for installing on your own computer, there are several. The first one is local by Flywheel, and that's the one we'll be covering in this course. When you build a site on your hard drive using local by Flywheel, it should be possible to move it to a web host at a later date for free. But that's not covered in this course, so you'll need to have a look at the instructions on the Local by Flywheel website. The second option is ServerPress. ServerPress used to be taught in this course, but a lot of students were having problems with it. I've never had problems with it, and I know a lot of students have had great success with it, so that is another option. But while it's a great solution for learning, you would be required to pay for an upgrade to a commercial version if you wanted to move your site online. The next option is XAMPP. That's the one I personally use, but it's a little bit more technical, so I'm not going to be covering it in this course. With XAMPP, it is free. You can move your site online for free if you know how. And then one very similar to XAMPP is MAMP. MAMP is another great solution, a little bit more technical, but you can move your site online if you know how. In the next section of the course, we're going to download and install Local by Flywheel and get WordPress set up on our own computer. If you know that you want to install WordPress on a web host and you don't want to do the local install, then you can skip the next section of the course and move straight ahead to the install on a web host section.